Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and oh my goodness, I started this video actually last night, but I had to redo it because there's just so much more coming out and I want to get it all in here. So I hope this doesn't take me forever. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, but down below I'm going to include all the links and you can look at them on your own. I'm going to go through them kind of fast, but try to hit the highlights. Anyway, we have this one right here. This is the actual declassified, telephone conversation. If you don't have that link, it'll be down below. And here is the actual whistleblower complaint, which the link will be down below too. Well, I started this with Sean Davis's thread here on Twitter from, like I said, yesterday, I think it was. And he is a co-founder of the Federalist. So, he's pretty well known. He's a blue check guy, but he's pretty well known. And so he said Adam Schiff was tweeting out allegations from the rumor-mongering anti-Trump leakers complaint while claiming that he didn't have access to the complaint. The complaint was addressed to Schiff on August 12, 2019. This tweet is from August 28, 2019, and Schiff said, "Trump is withholding vital military aid to Ukraine while his personal lawyer seeks help from the Ukraine government to investigate his political opponent." Yeah, okay. So obviously Schiff knew what was in the complaint, although he was claiming he didn't know at that point. What a liar. Anyway, it goes on and says, and which media propagandist did Schiff use as a prop to hide the true source of his allegations? One of Fusion GPS's favorite stenographers of discredited Steele-esque innuendo, Natasha Bertrand. The whole thing has been a Fusion GPS style info op from the very beginning. You're going to see there are so many things coming out now. Schiff and his allies even stovepiped information in the same way as during the collusion hoax. They leaked claims to the compliant media runs with the claims, then leakers point to the media reports they cited as proof of their allegations. This is called the wrap-up smear. I did a video on it. So check out that video if you've not seen it, because it's Nancy Pelosi detailing what the wrap-up smear is. Of course, in that video, she is actually accusing Republicans of doing it. But hey, who's got the press in their pocket? It's sure not the Republicans right now. So that is exactly what the wrap-up smear is, and that's exactly what they've been doing. They fabricate these stories, they hand them to the press writes them all up all nice and pretty and makes them sound like they're official because they're based on anonymous sources, and we know all anonymous sources are so accurate, right? So they do that, and then the Democrats turn around and they point out and they go, see, it's in the Washington Post, it's in the New York Times, it's got to be true. It's like, duh, do you think we're that stupid? We're waking up. We know what you're doing. So anyway, and here he says they started back in May. Yeah, this plan has been around for a little while because you know what? They found out that Mueller was not going to have the smoking gun for them. So they had to do something else. They are desperate, absolutely desperate. Oh, but I gotta tell you about this first. I'm so excited. This afternoon, I was in my car and I was listening to Rush Limbaugh and he played the audio of this video. Now, those of you who follow the 17th letter of the alphabet, you're gonna understand why I just started screeching. It was like, yeah, I can't believe he just played that. If you've not heard this video, go watch it. You've got to watch it. And I will tell you this, that it's awfully hard to find. If you try searching for it, you're going to have a tough thing. If you put in the exact title and you put quotes around it, you probably will find it on the first page. But if not, you can go for a whole page and not find it, even though you've got the exact title in. You got to have the quotes around it. And when you put the quotes around it, I think it was third on the list when I did that. But anyway, this right here, if you don't know why the deep state, why all these Democrats are going insane over Trump, this will tell you why. Okay, watch this video. And I'm going to apologize right now because the sound on my I'm getting weird sounds here because the fan on my laptop is going really hard because I have tons of tabs open, and that's why I need to get back to the video. But I also have a storm going on here, and sometimes they get thunder and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, lots of challenges today. Anyway, so in this thread, I was going through, and I'm sorry, I had to tell you about that. It says, and surprise, the anti-Trump leaker cited as proof of corruption in his complaint the very same articles that Schiff and his allies quite obviously seeded to form the narrative they desired. This raises the troubling question of whether Schiff orchestrated the complaint. Now, there are a lot of people saying that he may have even written it. I don't know if he wrote it, but he was in on the ground floor of it. I will bet you. So anyway, this pattern of behavior from Schiff, his whistleblower, and their media allies makes it all the more necessary for the anti-Trump complainant to publicly testify under oath and answer questions about his team's interactions with media and Democrat lawmakers about his complaint. And we're going to talk about the lawmakers in just a minute. And lest anyone forget, Adam Schiff and Fusion GPS head Glenn Simpson have a long history of working together in this fashion. Recall that Schiff and Simpson, who perjured himself in congressional testimony, secretly met together in Aspen. Just a reminder that nothing happened to Simpson for perjuring himself, Anyway, and then here's the article, and this was, just the Hill article. I like what it says down here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Simpson has become a Gump-like character who keeps showing up in so many different places in the Russian scandal. He's the owner of the company that was paid by Clinton for the Steele dossier, the guy who hired Steele to create the dossier, the one who met with Orr at the Justice Department, who pitched reporters writing Trump dirt at the end of the campaign, and who met with the Russian woman and an American lobbyist at the heart of the infamous June 2016 Trump Tower meeting. And yet, how much was he mentioned in the Mueller report? Not very much. And then he shows up with Schiff in Aspen. And this is at that, thing that they have in Aspen, a security, some kind of security thing where they all supposedly talk about security issues. So anyway, link will be down below. All these links going to be down below for you. But let's get back here. Anyway, that was the end of what he said. But of course, it's always good to read some of these different comments that they have down here. One of them, and here, is it just me or does this look like a lawyer wrote it? I'm a lawyer, sure does to me, okay? And he's not the only one that's saying that. I think Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch is also making the same claim, that it appears that a lawyer actually wrote the complaint. So, very interesting about that. I'm not sure what that says because there are an awful lot of lawyers on Capitol Hill. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it was a lawyer, but probably likely it was of some kind. And I'm going to show you who the lawyers are that are representing this guy in just a minute. Here's another Twitter thread that I came across. Here's something seriously strange. The disclosure of urgent concern form located earlier today at DNI is only 2 days old, according to its PDF properties. Yeah, guess what? This version of the form, date stamp September 25th, 2019, permits submission of second-hand material which was not permitted according to the document entitled Information about Filing a Disclosure of Urgent Concern, posted on September 23rd, 2019. And he gives links to all of these things. So what he's talking about is this urgent concern form. And if you watched my video that I just did on the hearing with the acting DNI, Maguire, that this current concern was what the focus was about, because how it's defined and everything was what he was working off of. And it goes through and it talks about a serious or flagrant problem, abuse, violation of law, or executive order. Now, notice that's all in the same parenthetical statement. So that means violation of law or violation of an executive order. You have to read it carefully because otherwise it would not all be together in that same parenthetical phrase right there. So, or deficiency relating to the funding, administration, or operation of an intelligence activity within the responsibility and authority of the Director of National Intelligence involving classified information, but does not include differences of opinion concerning public policy matters. Now, see, that right there tells me that it has to be under his authority. Well, the guy was saying, Maguire kept saying that it was not under his authority because it was talking about Trump. Trump is not under his authority. So he was right, and he kept really emphasizing that. So anyway, you can go down and you can see this. I'll include the link down below. But, you know, they have to tell what their current status is. And then what was changed is this right here. I know about the information I am disclosing here, and I have direct and personal knowledge, or I heard about it from others. Okay, here is the one from, I think it's April of 2019, from the Wayback Machine. So you can look through this and see what it used to look like, and you can look at what it looks like now. And so there are some differences and everything, but let's go back here because he actually includes some screenshots and things and other links that you might want to read, because this particular thing, when you were looking at it, it says here that firsthand information required. In order to find an urgent concern credible, the ICIG must be in possession of reliable first-hand information. The ICIG cannot transmit information via the ICWPA based on an employee's second-hand knowledge of wrongdoing. This includes information received from another person, such as when a fellow employee informs you that he or she witnessed some type of wrongdoing, which is essentially all that this person has. This whistleblower has nothing that is firsthand. Everything in there is just gossip as far as I'm concerned. And so that's one of the things that used to be there, but oh no, it's not now. And that's why we really have to look carefully at this. And he goes through in this thread. Again, I will link to the threads down below. Even if you don't have Twitter, you click on the link, it will take you there. So this guy says, thus, I haven't been able to confirm the original provenance of the information about form placed online by this particular Twitter user on September 23rd. It looks real, but needs to be confirmed. Regardless, the date stamp properties, September 25th, 2019, of the urgent disclosure form presently online at DNI need to be explained. And it says, this particular reader sharply observed that the urgent disclosure form with September 25th, 2019 modification date stamp contains footer revised August 2019. So in the midst of this unprecedented CIA leak whistleblow, the DNI changes its urgent disclosure form. What was it before? Well, and that's where we talk a little bit about Sue Gordon. Remember, Sue Gordon was supposed to step up, and then she found out she was not going to be put in as the DNI, and so she resigned. And, you know, when did she resign? Well, she resigned as of, I think it was the 15th, the same day as Dan Coates. So this happened on the 12th. This particular whistleblower letter to Schiff and Burr was on August 12th. And so there's the article on that if you want to read it. Maguire was named acting director on August 8th. During this period of DNI turmoil, DNI disclosure of urgent concern form was revised. Was Maguire informed? Who authorized an advanced revision of form? Did CIA operative whistleblower complete new or old form? Would be very interesting, wouldn't it? And the thing is, remember, Dan Coates was still the DNI until the 15th. So was he involved in it? Did Sue Gordon play any role? I mean, were these people part of that or not? And Maguire came in, and like I said, I'm sure he knew kind of about it, but he wasn't totally in on it and didn't have the authority until after Coates officially left. So anyway, this guy is talking about the prior version of disclosure of urgent concern form under this search, but he did find this one that I showed you before. So that is a previous version, and like I said, I think it's from April of this year. So some interesting progress on forums. As of today, the brand new disclosure of urgent concern form is linked from highlighted hyperlink on the ICIG hotline page. Look, they even have a link there now. They didn't have a link there before. And it says this web page has been saved 9 times by the Wayback Machine, most recently on July 2nd, a month before the CIA operative whistleblower got involved. And you can take these links and go to it. And it did not offer the newly minted disclosure of urgent concern form, but the form was icighotline.pdf. And that's what it used to look like, and it was just that particular thing. There was no urgent concern mentioned. Unfortunately, the hyperlink to the icighotline.pdf was not picked up in the July 2 trawl. Anyway, so it didn't pick it up, because sometimes it doesn't pick up attachments and stuff. However, the icighotline.pdf was picked up in the previous one. That's April 16th of 2019, which is right here. And you can take that link. And like I said, that's what looks like this. Okay. And again, I want to apologize for my fan on my laptop. It's starting to get louder. And I know it is, but there's nothing I can do about it at this point. So yeah, it just, I just have way too many tabs open, and I know it, but I'm going through a lot. So anyway, essentially, that's all I'm going to read on this, but I will leave it down below. And the whole point is it was changed. The form was changed where it used to say that you had to have firsthand knowledge, and it was changed to where they allowed secondhand or hearsay knowledge. And that is huge. And it was done, it appears, in August. So very, very interesting. Now, the Federalist here has a nice little article on it if you want to read that, because they go through and they tell more about it there. So that is supporting that particular thing about how they changed it. And that really changes everything that whistleblowers were about, because whistleblowers were supposed to be people who had firsthand knowledge. And now it's just hearsay. You can do anything, you can just make up anything about somebody. And it would not even stand up in court. If this information went to court, the court would say, I'm not going to take that. That's hearsay. We don't have to listen to that. Anyway, so this guy right here has another good thread on it. And he says the ongoing Democrat info op psyop is starting to unravel. And he refers to this one back here that I was showing you. This is the guy that's one of the founders of the Federalist, and so he refers to him. And he said, and Ben Shapiro have touched on it with some of their tweets today, but that's the tip of the iceberg. The collusion that has been underway by the likes of Schiff and the deep state IC is shocking. Military planners euphemistically use the term shaping the battlefield as they engage in full spectrum operations to hopefully win without firing a shot. Misinformation campaigns, etc., are all part of this, but it takes careful preparation. Let's see how it applies here. And so he goes through and he mentions this whole urgent concern thing and the firsthand information required. And, if you think that wrongdoing took place but can provide nothing more than the secondhand or unsubstantiated assertions, ICIG will not be able to process the complaint or information for submission. That's what it used to say, but that's not what it says now. But hey, you might say that the current official form on DNI's website has no such preamble, so it's okay to use hearsay now. Seems very convenient that it was just updated in August 2019. Move along, nothing to see here. So, someone in the ICIG, and ICIG stands for Intelligence Community Inspector General, and or the DNI, revised the procedures to make it easier to process a complaint based on hearsay. The statute still doesn't permit it, but we'll come back to that. This was done in August of 2019, right as the whistleblowers report was being vetted. Convenient, eh? Incredibly, it gets worse. On the 23rd of September, 4 days ago, and before the complaint was released, the Congressional Research Service, which we've talked about before, made an extensive update to their publication on intelligence community whistleblower protections. And here's the link to that. So you can go through The previous version of this publication was released on the 13th of December of 18. Strange to make an extensive update when there has been zero legislative action to update the statute since then. The prior version is here, and he gives the link to that. Let's compare. Incredibly, before the report was released, CRS, the research place, saw fit to provide significant additional insight into what an urgent concern was under the statute. Neat that they're Johnny on the spot with such a fast-moving train, huh? The prior version used the term urgent twice. The current version uses it 10 times. Term has been around since at least 1998 when the ICWPA was codified. Before the report was released to Congress, the CRS researcher thought it might need more explanation. Odd. What else changed? They added multiple pages on the means for addressing disagreements that may arise between the ICIG and the DNI that were authorized in the fiscal year 2010 IAA, but for some reason weren't relevant to include in the CRS analysis before the middle of this month. CRS cites chapter and verse from 50 U.S.C. section 3033 in footnotes for the majority of their analysis, except for 3 paragraphs when they discuss ICIG's conditional authority to report directly to Congress. Let's take the first 2 because the sleight of hand is obvious. And there he gives it. And then he goes on, he says, look carefully. The 2 bullets that are not footnoted in the above screenshot relate to those conditions. Indeed, the omission of the footnote is intentional to mislead. Why do we know this? Well, look at this with me. And it says, a matter requires a report by the Inspector General to the Department of Justice on possible criminal conduct by a current or former official described in Clause 2. And then he goes on, he says, stick with me. The omission of described in Clause 2 is essential to understanding the game they're playing here. What type of person does Clause 2 describe? Precisely 3 categories of people, none of which would include real Donald Trump. And so if you look at 2, you have an investigation, inspection, audit, or review carried out by the Inspector General focuses on any current or former intelligence community official who, and if you look at all 3 of these just real quick, intelligence community, intelligence community, intelligence community. So in other words, only people that are within the intelligence community. Let that sink in. Congressional authority does not include the right to receive this type of whistleblower report, period. Is that good law? Arguable, but it is the law. CRS is intentionally misleading Congress and the public to facilitate this usurpation of authority. That 3rd paragraph without a footnote, it's a highly debatable editorial comment passing off as statutory interpretation to give little Adam Schiff et al. Even more cover to mislead their fellow congressmen and the American public. Although statute gives the IG the authority for determining the credibility of a whistleblower complaint, it is not specific on who has the authority for determining whether a complaint, aside from its credibility, constitutes a matter of urgent concern. Odd, the timing and substance of the differences in the CRS documents facilitate a particular partisan narrative that the ICIG can forward a report to Congress about the president and color it as an urgent concern under the statute when that statute in fact says no such thing. Folks, this is an attempted coup. The executive branch is by no means perfect, but if the rule of law is to mean anything moving forward, we cannot allow the legislative branch to usurp this authority and toss congressional checks and balances aside because Orange Man bad. So, and he goes on and he talks about this, but I will leave the link to this thread below for you. You can go through it there. Now, let's go on. This is another one that you might want to look at because it was just updated on September 23rd. This is the intelligence community whistleblower protections that he was talking about. Okay, that is the Congressional, when he was talking about the Congressional research, that's what this is. And so I'll leave that link down below too. All right, so yeah, now let's get into, we know that it was declassified. I'm assuming by now that most of you have read it just because I know you people, you're very smart and you're on the ball, so you probably have read it. Well, here are a couple of letters that were on the committee, I think it's the Intelligence Committee. I can't remember. One of the committees had this. Yeah, the Intelligence Committee. And so this is from the whistleblower's lawyer. Well, look who the whistleblower's lawyer is. Compass Rose Legal Group. All right. And this guy, Andrew P. Bakaj, I'm going to call him Bakaj. I don't know if that's his name, but, Bakaj. So that's what I'm going to call him. And this guy wrote this letter and basically says, yeah, our client is willing to meet with you, but we need to have, some basic rules and stuff. And so they're trying to work it out so that they can talk to this guy. And here is a letter that was sent to Joe Maguire. And so this was saying, we need you to come in and to testify before we get the whistleblower in here. Now, according to this, it indicates that they were trying to get the whistleblower in Friday, September 27th, and that it was going to be a closed door meeting. I don't know if that happened or not, so I can't say. Here's another one. This is a letter that they sent to Maguire. And it was, again, saying, you must come in here and we're going to just grill the heck out of you. Because basically that's what they did. So, I know I'm going through those really fast, but I just want to include them down below for you. Let's talk about Compass Rose Legal Group. Well, a lot of times when I'm researching something, I'll just put it in and I'll, do a search for it first just to get an overview. Well, when I put in Compass in the free dictionary definition comes up because I put in Compass Rose and it redirected it here to Compass. Well, legally speaking, I guess, to compass means to imagine or contrive. It says it's from a law dictionary. So I thought, let's go to Merriam-Webster and see what it says. Yeah, so there we go. To devise or contrive, often with craft or skill. This is the name of their company. They named it Compass Rose Legal Group. Does this tell you who they are? Okay, they have represented a lot of Democrats. In fact, they consider themselves a whistleblower legal group. That's what they try to work out, and there's information on here. But, what I really want to show you about this is that there's more to these people than what you think. And when you go to this article right here, go ahead and guess who the lawyer for the Trump-Ukraine whistleblower is, and yeah. Raise your hand if you saw this coming. After days of impeachment fever and breathless hot takes about Trump being taken down by a non-scandal involving a whistleblower and a call to Ukraine, we are starting to get more information about just who is involved in this. You'd be completely not shocked to learn that the whistleblower has retained the services of a lawyer who worked for Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer. Not as a disconnected lawyer, but on their political staffs. And stick around because it gets even worse. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole article, but this is the guy it talks about, Andrew P. Bakaj. So, yeah. And it says that he is now a managing partner at the Compass Rose Legal Group, interned for Schumer in the spring of 2001 and for Clinton in the fall of the same year. So he's in bed with him, and it goes on and it talks about him, and there's even connection with Joe Biden is represented by two lawyers who run a group that offers financial help to fired whistleblowers. And that's what I wanted to show you, because here is this group that they have. It's called Whistleblower Aid. What they do is they help whistleblowers financially, with money to pay their bills. And so they essentially, they're paying off these whistleblowers to blow the whistle and to narc on Donald Trump. Because I'm willing to bet that the people they're representing are not people who are loyal to Trump. And it's getting really bad because now this whistleblower has a GoFundMe account and it says it's raised over $70,000. This was on the 26th, so I'm sure it's more than that now. But yeah, so this whistleblower is getting all kinds of money, and I can't help but wonder if this isn't money laundering here, that it's working to take money to fund this person who is causing all of this, because it was orchestrated, folks. This was all orchestrated. So that's a quick overview of things. I know I went fast, but oh wow, it just needed to be said. All of this. And I don't know, some of you have better resources, you see things more than other people. So I just wanted to lay it all out there. These are the things that have been coming to light, and I want you to be informed. So share this information, tell people about it, let people know what's really going on, because I think this is becoming obvious to many people when they see things like this happen. And then the whole Adam Schiff fantasy thing, fractured fairy tale. Yeah, that was crazy. And why would he not just read the document? If all that stuff is true, why not just read the document? But he couldn't do that because the document didn't say what he said it said. Yeah, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.